All right, folks, welcome back to Mike and Maurice's Mind Escape. We have episode number 63 today, Egypt Live on Expedition Unknown. We're going to do a little review of the live broadcast from tonight. Check us out at patreon.com/Mike and Maurice, and check out our website at Mike and Maurice Mindescape.com. What's up, dude?
Yo, yo. Let's get
So,
into an unknown expedition, baby.
so tonight, on Travel Channel and Sci-Fi. I don't know what other. There's a few channels it was on.
It was on both of them together, or
Yeah, it was on a few different ones at once.
they're probably
But
owned by the same person or
yeah,
something.
it's owned by the same company. I'm pretty sure. Um, but so we talk a lot about Zahi Hawass, how he gets in fights with everybody in the alternative realm. But tonight, he and Josh Gates. Josh Gates is the host of the show Expedition Unknown on the Travel Channel, or Discovery Channel, either one.
Oh, is that the
Um,
guy that we have in that one for the alien
yeah,
thing?
so yeah, we made he did some alien episodes on it last season, and we on one of our other videos on
Rendleton.
on Ancient Secrets, he did a Rendlesham Forest experiment where he I don't know, we're not going to get into that right now. But anyways, so tonight they uncovered three different mummies. The first one was well, first off, let's get to where all this was happening. So this was in, I think it was called Al-Ghorifa. It's in where the Middle Kingdom was in ancient Egypt, and this was part of the 26th dynasty. Um,
Mhm.
so the first person they found was some important woman, and they lifted the lid off, and they found there's like little you know little trinkets and little jewels and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. And, for anybody to be mummified and put in some sort of a tomb or sarcophagus or anything, you kind of had to be, been important.
Yeah.
So they found her, and then they went into, a more of the rock or the cave part, the tomb. And the next one that they found was it was like the patriarch of a family, somebody kind of important, and they said he was maybe Zahi Hawass was kept pointing out he thought he was either like a musician or a singer based on all the stuff they found in the tomb. Um, and the way the
Nice.
tomb was set up was like family oriented too, so it was kind of unique. The cool thing about this whole show, or this episode that they did, was it really was live. Like they were walking from like site to site. It looked like something you'd see at like Indiana Jones, where there's like, you know, those floodlights and torches and people playing instruments in the background and people
The
eating
hell?
food. It was like a scene out of. I mean, I'm sure they staged some of that. I don't know
Well, yeah, they
how.
had to prepare for all that, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like you, if you thought that they were like I don't know. When I think about it in my head, I think, well, you just think of some guys like in the desert. And the other thing is they did it at night. Obviously, it's cooler at nighttime, and you're sweating
Right,
your ass
right.
off in the middle of the desert. I assume that's why they did it like that. But so everything was like lit up with floodlights and different lighting and stuff. But it was just like I said, there was like tents with dudes playing music in the background and stuff. And maybe that normally happens. I don't know, but it just seemed like
What
this.
dudes? Were they Egyptian? What?
Yeah, there were some Egyptian Jews just playing some, Egyptian music with their horns, and I don't know what those instruments are in the background,
So
but
they were treating it as like a ceremony of sorts.
yeah. And then the other interesting thing is these guys every time they move, because like the lid, I think the one lid was like a ton or something. It was like heavy,
Damn.
they have these special like crowbar things, and then they slide like wood planks underneath, and then but when they move, the guys that move them, they make this, they say something all at the same time every time they push. So it's like some word that I'd have to look it up and see what that is, but I don't know if that's another common thing. But they all say maybe it's push, or I don't, the word for Egyptian for move, something like that. But it was pretty interesting. And then the most important one at the end, that was like the big reveal. they found one of the 5 high priests of Thoth. So that was kind of cool. The interesting thing is the big takeaway from the live event for me was they found a reserve head, which for that time would have been probably weird. A reserve head is like a wax like sculpture of the head that could replace your head if it was stolen or disintegrated or broke or whatever. And the only I think they've what did he say? It was the fourth dynasty, and Khufu said something, made some law that you're not allowed to have them anymore or something like that. So that was interesting to see that, because that
So you're
means
not
that
allowed to have what?
this reserve head thing, which is like a wax, like carving of your actual head that they would put in there too in case your real head got
Oh,
stolen,
okay,
broken,
okay.
whatever. But that wasn't, again, it was used in the fourth dynasty and then wasn't used again, I guess. So the fact that they found one of those in there, and they get
So it's
he
like a timestamp almost.
and Zahi Hawass said that that could have been like what the guy's real face looked like too. It looked like, I mean, you could make out kind of what this person probably looked like if that was like a actual carving of, their
Yeah,
features and everything. So that was kind of
that's pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, so I thought it was actually, obviously, there's some big mysteries like Emma Hotep and some people still out there that if you find those are like going to be the finds of the century, But
So where is this in relation with the actual, like, the big pyramids that we know?
like I said, this is Middle Egypt. So here, maybe I can
Oh, okay.
pull up a map. Um,
Alright,
there's
so it's
low
just
there, yeah. There's upper, lower, middle, and they used to fight, and there used to be different, who's going to control Upper Egypt, Lower Egypt, that kind of
right,
stuff.
right.
It's kind of Game of Thronesy in that way.
How long was this show?
It was 2 hours long, so it was a decent length. It wasn't just a quick little,
Yeah.
And they did keep they would have like a GoPro running while the commercial was running in the corner, so you could kind of see
Uh-huh.
what was still happening on the live feed while
Yeah.
it was going to commercial. So that was
So
kind of.
what time would it be over there?
I don't know what time it was over there. It aired at like 8 o'clock tonight. So I think I
Oh,
I had
okay.
it on DVR, but
Oh,
I
alright,
caught it a
yeah, that's
little
why
bit
I'm
later.
confused.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in the month they talked about the mummification process, which I don't know if people out there are familiar. What they would do is when somebody obviously died, it's when you die, it's you start to deteriorate instantly. So they would have to get all
Decomposed, yeah.
yeah, they'd have to get all your internal organs out right away, except for your heart, which Thoth would have to observe it being weighed on the scale with the other Egyptian gods and stuff,
Uh-huh,
and
uh-huh.
Anubis.
How'd they
So
get your organs out? Through your ass?
no, no, no. They just like cut your stomach open. They get your brain out through your nose,
Oh, okay, yeah, I
your
remember they
nose.
pulled something out through a crevice.
Yeah, and your mind instantly goes to a completely different one. Um, but so yeah, so they'd pull your brain out with like a hook, through your nose.
That's
So
gruesome.
then they would put them in these things they're called canopic jars, which are these like little pottery jars with a different god's head on top. You got Horus and
Uh-huh.
Isis and all that stuff. So the one when they found the main one, the one that he was the priest, one of the priests of 5, which is part of Thoth's high priest. Um, he had a bunch of gold on his chest, so there was like a gold uh like Isis, who is the one, one of the goddesses of ancient Egypt.
Right, right.
And they also found a scarab in there. And they also found some of Horus's children figurines in there, I guess, too. So
What's that shit worth? Just priceless, huh?
yeah, I mean, well, that was people were joking, I think, on Twitter and stuff. Like the one when he Josh Gates asked like Zahi Hawass is like, you can come work for me, blah blah blah. And Josh Gates is like, how much does it pay? He's like, nothing. He's
One scarab.
Yeah, he's like, I'm on national TV. It's okay, So
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
joking about that, but it was just, it was a joke. Like he's not really in it for the money, but um That's the interesting
Where does that
paradigm.
shit go? Does it go to the
Well,
state or not the state?
some of it goes to museums, and they gotta
Right.
analyze it and check it and everything, but, and that's always been the for a long time, there's a lot of stuff in the British Museum. There's the big museum in Cairo that has a lot of the stuff. And I mean, you could see, like, King Tut, like, I know Uncle John went to go see King Tut when he was at the Detroit Institute of Art not that long ago,
Oh,
so
they do a Tut tour?
yeah,
That's cool.
like, all of the, stuff. So, yeah, some of the stuff moves around, but, the interesting thing about the Zahi Hawass thing is, like, people, um, hate him so much and talk so much shit, and there is some shady stuff. So, like, part of why people don't trust him is some people think stuff's older, and he doesn't even wanna have that conversation, so he'll try that video online of him fighting with Graham Hancock and storming off before an actual debate. And then there's a whole scandal where he was accused of trying to help these German archaeologists smuggle pieces of, like, the Great Pyramid and different stuff to analyze for dating to prove, whatever he was. I don't know if he was trying to prove it was older or earlier or what he was trying to do. Um, so people thought he was pretty much done then, but this guy just keeps ticking, man. He's like a cat, an ancient Egyptian cat, and
Yeah.
he takes a licking and keeps on ticking. But yeah, I mean, I there's a lot of legitimacy. Obviously, I don't really dispute a lot of the stuff having to do with, if you can find, you understand the language based on the Rosetta Stone, so you understand hieroglyphs, and then you apply it to, um, what we know about the different dynasties, what's written, all the hieroglyphs, and what's on cartouches, and all that kind of stuff. I think where it gets hairy, though, is when you start talking about their spirituality and what was going on there, and like getting in that mindset. I don't think people probably try and compare it to like religion nowadays and stuff like that. And it was probably something completely different. So, um,
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to take that stuff literal because it's just a
well,
different
for me,
time.
it's like that's if you believe in there's any mystery to like okay, so you're gonna get your archaeologists and your scientists that are gonna say no, this is the way it is there's nothing, this is it. Once you die, you die. The Egyptians, however, I don't know how you can be an Egyptologist or work in that field and think that there wasn't something to it. So that like you're going to analyze a whole civilization, but the premise of their civilization was based on what happens after life. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's like you're going to devote yourself. Are you trying to debunk it, or So I guess that's where the trouble lies for me is with that kind of stuff, not necessarily the age of different pharaohs and stuff like that. That doesn't, whatever. But yeah, so it was interesting. I like Josh Gates. He's kind of goofy, but I've seen that show, that Expedition Unknown, on some different stuff. He has like an open mind. I think he has a degree in archaeology, but he did like an ayahuasca ceremony last season and stuff like that. So he's open to doing some crazy stuff. So,
Yeah, we got a guy in our chat that says he's a turd.
well, I
But,
mean,
to each its own, I don't know.
I,
I'm not too familiar with
he
the guy,
he
so I
might he
can't.
might be a turd, but like I said, the problem I have is like then if he's the turd, then who's in the middle? Because the people on TV, for somebody like that to do an ayahuasca ceremony and put it on TV. I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty ballsy, but
Right.
that's just my opinion. In terms of what we're doing, with TV now, you can like look at, watch this whole thing unfold. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Watching stuff be discovered right in the moment. I mean, who knows too, like, I don't wanna say it was staged, but, like, did they obviously had an
that's what this guy's claiming. He said it was
that
all staged, it's
that
fake and
we
shit.
would have
I
we
mean, that
there's gotta be some idea of what's going on, like, you can't, like, open it like, you have to know, you're gonna tell me, and the other thing is this, is that you're gonna tell me they found these things and then had the restraint to not open them when they just had to open them right when you know what I'm saying? So it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Well,
not
you're gonna
saying
take the risk of opening something that meticulous, and you gotta be very careful with that shit. Something
W
could go
we
wrong.
had to
That's all.
keep reminding him too to put on his mask because there's you don't wanna breathe in that ancient air, that shit'll
It's like
it'll cr
green smoke
yeah, no,
comes.
no, I mean, there's that's why people believe in the curse of the King Tut's tomb, with
Yeah,
the
it turns you into Brendan Fraser.
Howard Carter, because there's who knows what kind of stuff gets trapped in the air. There could have been a disease at the time when it was closed. If it becomes airtight, who knows what's going to happen? So
That's
um,
crazy.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that like I said, it was a cool thing to put on TV, whether it was bunk or whatever. I'd rather watch that than some stupid show.
Mhm.
But
Well, you gotta watch it with with an eye for that stuff, but I'm sure it was educational nonetheless.
well, it's crazy though that, I mean, even though we're constantly discovering stuff, there's so many mummies that are still out there yet to be discovered. So
Yeah,
many
so are they just like buried underneath
temples.
the
Yeah, I
sand?
mean, here's the other thing: is how much shit is under this. There could be like layers and layers of stuff under the sand. I mean, I don't know exactly um, how it would be laid out, but just based on everything I've seen on TV and reading, and even a lot of the academic stuff, there's still a lot of stuff out there. Especially Imhotep. That's like I said, if somebody can find that, that's a huge, huge.
Yeah, where's that supposed to be? Egypt?
Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm specifically talking about Egypt. If we're talking about around the world, I'm sure
Oh,
there's
okay, okay, yeah.
crazy amounts of stuff that's out. I mean, think
Right.
about all the stuff that's under the sea and stuff. There's crazy stuff out there.
Yeah, are you gonna go
Um,
into song now or
no, I'm not. Are you?
no? Under the sea, man.
Yeah, sing it.
Just call me
Uh,
Sebastian.
um, I mean, what do you think about all this? Do you think that's them doing it on TV like that's kind of like a
I
um
think there has to be some kind level of staging to the I don't know, I didn't see it, I can't comment on it if I haven't seen it.
but there's like a lot of hypocrisy though too with it. So like Zahi Hawass, who talked shit for years, was on Ancient Aliens last season. He was on like the first episode of the season. And he didn't say anything about aliens. Like he's saying, I don't believe it, blah blah blah. Like they were talking about the Sphinx, and he was saying,
This is the
"Oh,
leader of Egypt? Sorry to interrupt.
well, he's the guy, the main archaeologist when it comes to all that kind of stuff." And there was the head of what was that guy's name? Mustafa Waziri. He's like the head of the antiquities there. He was on the
Okay.
episode too, like showing some different stuff like masks and canopic jars and stuff like that. But um when you look at like when he was on Ancient Aliens, yeah, he was just trying to debunk it by saying um if the ancient Egypts were looking for like the hall records under the paw of the Sphinx too, but he only talked about like in the head of the Sphinx and just below the main part of the Sphinx. They're not taught. He never addressed there's like these chambers that they think they found under the paw of the Sphinx that could be where the hall records are. So he didn't even like address that. And he dismisses the idea of the older Sphinx based on the water erosion. His theory is that he brought in an expert from the University of Louisville to say that it was wind erosion, which the vertical fissures do not look like wind erosion. I mean, the closest thing you could probably look at is those the erosion, on the mountains in like Utah and stuff like that. And
Uh-huh.
it doesn't really look that similar, but if the wind was blowing down, maybe, I don't know, but
Yeah, you never really do know, that's the thing.
I don't think we are ever going to know. I mean, unless some substantial amount, like that's why I think though, like Dr. Shock, different actual, I've talked to a couple geologists on Reddit too that say that they're not closed minded to the idea of the Sphinx being older based on the erosion and stuff. So I think if you can get some of these scientists in there and get some actual data, they might be able to back up the point where at least open the minds up of some of these other people to look at stuff. So who knows?
Oh, yeah, I don't think the mysteries are even close to being revealed yet with that stuff. Well, what do I know?
Here's the thing. Think about this. Growing up, we didn't have cell phones. What did we used to do? If I called you at your house and you weren't there, oh, he's not there. Might not talk to him for a couple of days, see him at school,
Yeah.
whatever. Nowadays, I can call you 100 times, and you're gonna pick up one of those 100 times if you're a human being that's alive within the next couple hours. So Um, the accountability of having the technology and everything is crazy. I mean, it's just now think about go back to the horse and buggy days, and then before that, go back to just horse, just people riding horse, like, and then keep going back till you get to the point where you're in ancient Egypt. You can't even really put yourself in that mindset. It's almost like
Yeah.
living on a different planet.
Right, right. The question is, did that planet have magic and aliens? Hey,
uh, yeah. I mean, that's
no,
I mean, Egypt is magical, bro. That's why there's magical Egypt. So
yeah,
there's your answer right there.
no,
Which
it's cool stuff,
anybody
and
that
we
hasn't
can't
checked it
figure it
out,
out.
check out Magical Egypt. And they just wrapped up the season 2 recently. Their stuff's really good. If you haven't checked it out, Magical Egypt.
What's that on Sci-Fi?
No, you can get it on their website or you can get it on YouTube. I think. I mean, it costs money, but it's worth it. Um,
And what do they just go in depth about Egypt
well,
and
it
all the
just looks at
mysteries?
like the mysteries, the mystery school. All the like the correlations between like we were looking at that Temple of Man, Schwaller de Lubitz stuff when we had Laird Scranton on.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Temple of Man and how the temples in Luxor is laid out, in the body of a man, so
Hmm.
stuff like that. It's just correlating basically like their spirituality to the temples and architecture and just, all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool.
Here's a comment from our little chat section. Gates is the Bill Nye of archaeology.
Well, here's the thing about that, sir. Bill Nye,
How do you know it's
Bill,
a
Nye,
sir, man? Whoa, whoa.
I guess I don't. So
No, it is.
sorry.
His name's Walter.
Okay, Walter, I'm sorry. So let's just say this. Bill Nye is actually not a scientist. I think he has an engineering degree. He used to work for Boeing.
Yeah, no, he isn't. I don't think he
Some
is a
sort of
scientist.
aeronautical degree or something like that.
Hmm.
Josh Gates actually has an archaeology degree. Now, is he a good archaeologist? I have no idea. I just see what's on the show. Again,
Yeah,
it's just something I like all these ancient sites, and anytime somebody puts them on TV, whether it's Ancient Aliens or Josh Gates or Bob Breer on the Discovery Channel or the History, it doesn't matter who it is. I just like watching this stuff because I like watching stuff about all these ancient sites. So to
yeah.
me, the
Well, it's
host
hard to look
is
like a fool on your own show. That's
well, it's he is a fool though. This guy goes to different countries and immediately does whatever the traditions are the first part of the show. So like I get this guy's point. Like he is kind of goofy, but like again,
yeah.
I don't care. I'm just in it to watch about the actual ancient sites and the information and stuff. So
Uh-huh. What is he has a show that what he like what season is it are they
I
on?
don't know. I don't know. I've only seen probably like 10, 15 episodes. I'm sure there's got to be at least.
Those shows go forever,
Yeah,
you know.
that stuff's got to have a bunch of seasons.
Here, what the
Another
hell? I got the internet right here. Idiot.
Another cool one is America Unearthed with Scott Walter. That was on History Channel 2. I think it's actually come back. I don't know if it's on again yet or if they're making new episodes. Um, and that one's kind of similar in the regard. He's a forensic geologist, I believe.
Okay.
So there's actually a decent amount of shows popping up, and I think the reason why you see that is because people do like that kind of stuff, and they're really for a long time there was nothing. Once in a while there'd be a documentary or you know short
Yeah.
series or whatever, but nothing consistent.
I think there's 5 seasons, it looks like, of Expedition Unknown. Yeah, because the fifth season just aired April 10th, or will air April 10th.
Okay,
Something about the last Nazi code. That sounds actually kind of interesting, but
yeah.
we'll see.
Well,
We'll
he
see what
did that
happens.
stuff too, where he went looking because there's all those rumors about how Hitler survived and went to
Oh yeah,
Argentina.
yeah,
Well, but for sure they know that a lot of those guys went to Argentina. Now,
yeah,
did
for
did
sure.
Hitler make it
Hmm.
out? I don't know, but that's
Why wouldn't he?
there's been like 3 different shows on this same specific thing. So,
Yeah, wasn't there
uh,
a guy in Joe Rogan that was talking about that? I
maybe
think that's where I heard about it, and then I
Eddie
did my own
Bravo.
research. No,
It was
not the Bravo.
it was somebody else.
Yeah, because he was talking about how he was down in South America, and there's like full, uh, there's like full areas of German
Yeah, yeah,
people. And
yeah.
it's like
Oh,
it
yeah.
goes
I
back
think I
in
know
time.
I don't remember who that was, but now I kind of do remember what you're
And
talking about
yeah,
there.
they're like super into Nazis, and
Yeah.
it's their grandparents, so they're
Right, right, right.
they're very Nazi oriented.
Yeah. That's yeah, but people also get in the conspiracy stuff with that too, So,
Right. There's the truth lies between,
yeah, I don't know.
like everything.
But yeah, I remember there was a show on History Channel where some guy goes something like it was one of these types of shows, and the guy met somebody. He's like, my grandfather saw Hitler, so like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know, but it's weird to think about that kind of stuff. But
Well, if you're very into Nazis, then you're gonna that's a big
right,
deal. So
right.
people probably made stories up all the time about that.
Well, I got something to tell people that like Nazis. Go fuck
Yeah.
yourself.
Whoa.
So just throwing that out there. No, but I mean, there if there was truth in that, that's be crazy though to think about if that's.
I think it's definitely plausible that he lived. Guy had tons of dough. He knew what was coming.
Right. Yeah, I don't even know how they do that. Did they have his body? I don't know enough about it, um but yeah, so back to the Egypt live stuff. I just think that the we're in a day and age where more of this you're gonna see this kind of stuff now. Like I said, it was cool that they were walking around. I think some of it was staged. I don't know if them opening it up or whatever was that way, but here's the thing: is how fucked up would it be if they had already opened it up, or like Zahi Hawass had already seen it and then he pretended to see it for the first time? Like that would be kind of fucked up, right?
I gotta see this thing. I'll be able to tell you, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
I
not
gotta see this shit.
no, because now you've heard the explanation. But think about okay, so think about this. You go back and you watch it and think about what I'm saying now. Did Zahi Hawass already take a peep at these things beforehand? You
Mm-hmm.
know, and if
Yeah.
that's the case, like I said, that's fucked up. You're gonna sit
Wow,
there
is he
and
pretty pumped up?
he's like, "Oh my gosh!" You just like over. And if it's genuine, that's fine. I mean, that's awesome, whatever. But
Uh-huh.
like I said, that this guy does have a little bit of a shady past, so
Oh, well.
it's not
See,
other.
all these fruits are coming to fruition now. What's going
We'll
on with
see.
this guy?
We'll
Plus,
see.
dude, like the green gas, man. You can't open that shit on live TV.
Yeah. Ooh,
You got King Tut's fart just fucking
well, that'll be
floating.
the conspiracy. Why did Josh Gates not? He had to keep being told to put his mask back on if he was really that worried about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Let the
Well,
conspiracies flow.
that's cool. So that aired tonight. I
Yeah,
guess you can
2 hour
see the
special aired tonight. I think it's Sci-Fi, Travel Channel, Discovery Channel. It's probably on all of them.
all over. Yeah,
It's all
there's
over
only
the
one
place.
station now, so
Expedition Unknown. But and you can go hashtag Egypt Live on Twitter as well. It's trending. Um, but yeah, that's all I got. We just wanted to lay it out.
everyone's gonna there's gonna be people that call it out too though, because like that NASA Live thing, they just people are that's not
Yeah, but these
real.
are real people. I mean, then you're talking. Okay, if those people are saying that's what space is fake. I mean, what are they saying?
I they're saying that broadcast wasn't real.
Which one? The SpaceX one?
The NASA, can't you look into space right now?
Oh, you're saying the live feed that they
Yeah,
put up
yeah.
there? That's what people are.
I've heard it. Obviously, people are
I don't
just
know,
off
bro.
their rocker.
That's some straight. I look at that though too. Sometimes I will say I look at that. I'm like, is this real? But
Yeah.
I think it is. I just think it's weird to watch because it's space. It's not something you would normally like. We're used to
Right.
watching things of this on land and of this ilk, of day to day visual reality. But when you start thinking of outside of our atmosphere and space, it's probably a
Well,
weird.
actually, I just read an article that all that we've never been out of our atmosphere. Actually, our atmosphere expands further than we actually knew. If I can
What
find
do
the
you
link,
mean?
like how we have satellites in space and stuff.
Yeah.
This article saying that our atmosphere actually expands further than what we perceived, and we still have never been out of our own atmosphere before. And it was some pretty credible shit.
How have we been to the moon then if and not been
That's all still in the atmosphere.
what?
I'll find this thing and I'll link
Yeah,
it to
send
you.
it to me. I mean, I believe you, but I want to know like what's the
I would have
details of
studied it
this.
harder if I knew I was gonna be, put on
Is it?
a
Are you
quiz.
talking about the magnetic field, or what are you
No,
talking about?
no, it was just I'm telling you, the article I read it was a question, "Have we been out of our own atmosphere?" And it
I was
says
gonna say
news
because the sun manipulates our magnetic field. I could believe something like
yeah.
that, but I don't know about this. You're talking about like our gases, like oxygen and nitrogen, like all that kind of shit.
Again, I'm no Bill Nye the Science Guy, but
uh,
I'm just telling you what I
I
read on
can't
this.
even. I will agree with that dude. That Bill Nye's bunk, man. They okay. So there's
I don't
the
like Bill Nye either.
listen. There's this podcast. It's called Star Talk. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson and what's his face, Bill Nye, and sometimes they have other people on, too. I like the what's his name, Mamie Okaku or something like that, the crazy guy with the crazy hair. But anyways, so Bill Nye, they did an episode on Star Talk where Bill Nye was talking about psychedelics. He was like, "Yeah, man," and he was trying to act like this dude has never taken them. He was speaking about him like he knew what he was talking about. He was talking about it just being an illusion of the brain. He has no idea what he's talking about in that. Like that's I guess what bugs me about him. It's not even the stuff he talks about like where he does know, it's the stuff that he talks about where he doesn't know, and it's glaringly obvious. So like that
Yeah, but at the
does
same time, we don't know that it is an hallucination of
no,
our
no,
brain
no.
either,
But
so
he's never done it. So but here's the thing too: is he speaks about like if you heard him talk about it, it would be like it's almost like some sort of like marijuana propaganda from like the 1950s. It was actually disgusting to listen to. But
yeah, well, that's how those people are.
yeah, if look, there's scientists that study psychedelics that are completely clear-headed that have far better perspectives on that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not going to listen to Bill Nye talk about psychedelics.
Bill. Yeah, this guy would fucking remix songs with science lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't know any better, I mean, look, people, everybody, how many people, everybody thinks that what the bleep do we know is bunk now because Joe Rogan put it. They used to make us watch that in school, dude. I remember watching that in like 4 different science classes when we were growing
Yeah,
up.
what is that? I saw that on Netflix. I must have seen
It's
it.
it's so the lady that made it is like the head of this like weird. I don't even know if it's a religion, so I don't think it's
Here
a
we go.
cult, but it's just Ramatha it's this lady. She channels this entity that she claims is from Atlantean times or something weird like that.
Mhm.
And then she made a science like a woo woo science video. So um like the double slit experiments in there. So like when people used to explain the double slit experiment, they'd play that clip and different stuff like that, where it kind of does explain it, but it adds like a very spiritual element to it, without really taking a look at the facts. It's just adding to um it's adding like the woo woo stuff to science, but not in like a clever way that like it's believable because we don't know any better. She did it in a way where it's like we can obviously debunk this because of this.
Yeah.
So, and it's an old movie too. So, I mean, maybe it was
Yeah,
cutting
the
edge.
2004. I'll check that out. I wanna see this.
Yeah.
But they
So
played it in school?
maybe not then. I thought I
Yeah.
could have swore I saw it in high school. I'm not, maybe I'm wrong because we graduated in '03, so that wouldn't make sense timeline wise.
This guy's all disheveled.
No, I mean, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
What the bleep do you know, bro?
I guess I don't know
I
what
don't
I
think you've ever
don't
seen
know.
this movie. I
Yeah.
think I've seen it on Netflix. I'm almost certain on that.
Right. It does say 2004. I don't know. I don't,
This guy had a
I,
Mandela effect
no,
on him.
it might be. I don't believe in the Mandela effect, but now I do. So, um, for real. No, I for real because I remember watching it. Remember, we both had a science class together. I can't remember.
Mr. Boer?
Oh yeah, Bower.
That was
Um,
environmental science, though. I don't know if you would have
yeah,
played
no,
that.
he was out for like a month for some reason. He was sick or something, and that lady came in
Yeah,
and
I do remember that.
didn't really teach us anything and just played movies every day. So
Yeah, I think one of the Barada sisters
shout
was
out to
watching
that
it.
lady.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I don't know, but I do know um, that that space is real. I think it is.
Yeah, I agree with the space is real. I gotta dig up this article though. Maybe I hallucinated that too.
um, yeah, I mean, because like I hate all that stuff too. I hate that we even talk about it. That like what's real, what's not real. When like basic elementary stuff. We should be talking about the complex nitty gritty type stuff. Instead it's verifying that the Earth is round and space is real and all that kind of stupid shit.
Right.
NASA's
Oh,
real. Here's how I know NASA's real. When we go camping in up North Michigan, um, you can track the satellites, going around in the exact same position every however many minutes. I don't know. It's not that long though. You can just stand there and watch it. Um, I think yeah, the International Space Station it goes like 17,000 miles an hour or something like that. But yeah, crazy stuff. I
sorry, I'm
just
trying to respond to somebody.
no, it's cool. I just um like I said, I just like how they're doing more of this kind of ancient civilization, megalithic structures. I don't even care if it's ancient aliens or expedition unknown or whatever.
Do you think Joe Rogan has something to do with this resurgence of people being interested in this kind of stuff?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's a combination of things. I think you have two different. If I were to analyze it like this is what I would say. I think a lot of people that listen to Joe Rogan are intelligent enough to know that aliens didn't build the pyramids, but there are a lot of questions. When you look at Graham Hancock stuff, Robert Schoch, all these different people that have alternative ideas. A lot of that stuff makes sense, and there's physical, and situational evidence, that can back that up. But then you look at the people that believe in ancient aliens, and I don't know how you can watch that show and not think that at some point it's BS because everything they talk about the aliens supposedly built, like everything. So that's just not that's that's
Including the human.
yeah. Well, if we're gonna talk about like things that's more plausible to me than I know I believe in evolution and everything, but that would be more plausible, than
Mhm.
some being coming down and building a bunch of blocks.
Right. Even if you
And
believe in evolution, where'd the brain spark come
and
from?
if the
That's
aliens came here and built everything, I would expect it to be better than the shit that's here. Okay. We're talking, yeah, we got some laser
yeah.
cuts. We got some cool stuff. Okay. I want next level shit. I want like, circuit boards and printed into stone and shit. Like that's if you're flying from a different galaxy or a different planet or universe, whatever, if you're coming from a different place and you can get here, you better put up some good shit. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ye I'm on our, YouTube or I'm on our channel watching our video, and I went to the next to click the next video, and it's Josh Gates finds human remains.
um
This guy's really tapped into the algorithm, I'll tell you that.
yeah, so like I said, man, I think we live in strange times where, yeah, there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of research and enlightening themselves. And then you got a lot of people that are just kind of believe in everything. But then
Right, so you have to be super aware, and you gotta use a fine-tooth comb to comb out the truth.
the other thing is like, I always come back. I think that was one of the most important episodes we did. The consciousness of evolution, the one on the Dr. Claire Graves, to look at like the levels of human consciousness. So when you look at somebody like sort of somebody that believes an alien came down in a spaceship and built the Great Pyramid, if that's the case, then that person's probably a 4 or 5 on
Yeah.
that scale. And that's not even a negative thing, but that's just where they're at, in the evolution of their consciousness. So
Mhm. Well, yeah, look at these big cities that we've built. We know humans built them. That's pretty extraordinary.
here's the
It's
fucked
not
up
the
thing.
level of a pyramid necessarily, but it's better in some ways and not in some ways. So,
Here's the fucked up thing about that. If a cataclysm were to happen tomorrow we all get wiped out, whatever, disease,
Mm-hmm.
floods, whatever happens, some crazy shit. So a coronal mass ejection, anything. If that were to happen, guess what would still be there in 500,000 years, and guess wouldn't be there?
Well, the
No,
cities would be gone.
yeah, nothing. You wouldn't probably find nothing in America except for Mount Rushmore, maybe some very primitive bases of buildings or something like that. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
thick stone stuff, maybe. You go to ancient Egypt, those puppies are still there, baby. They're just chugging along.
Yeah.
So if you really
Well,
wanted to build something that would last or like leave some sort of crazy legacy, even a time capsule, all you have to do is build a pyramid.
yeah, but isn't it? It's you wouldn't use that kind of stone to build structures nowadays. It's just not.
Yeah, you
Not.
do something. Well, there's the Georgia Guidestones. You know what those are?
No.
Okay, those somebody ran in like the in a random part of Georgia built these. They're like instructions on how to rebuild civilization if everybody gets wiped out, kind of a
Mm-hmm.
thing. Almost like 10 Commandments, but more in depth with like more,
Yeah.
philosophies and different stuff on there. And those are pretty big, but they're like more like huge, something you'd see at like a cemetery, like one of those huge, um, what do you call them? Like monuments or shrines or
Yeah.
whatever. It looks something kind of like that. So that's kind of interesting. But
Yeah. What are those called? Damn it.
what?
I want to say esophagus, but that's not.
Your esophagus is in your throat, bro, and a sarcophagus
Oh yeah.
is a graved Egyptian is a graved Egyptian
Man,
tomb.
you can't make this shit up, folks.
I want to say it's a esophagus.
Oh. Well, good stuff, man. I think you told me enough where I don't even have to watch this thing now,
Yeah, don't
except to
watch
find out
it.
if it's real or not.
Go watch the live feed, see how fake it is. No, but I think you should watch it for his reactions. I want to see what you think of that. I'm
This
sure you
guy
could.
says, somebody in our chat says Obelisk.
Yeah, it's
Is that
kind
what
of
it is?
no. That's not
That's
what.
not what I. That's not the
That's
word
not
I'm
what we were
looking
thinking
for.
of. But that's kind of that is. It is kind of like an obelisk in a way. It's almost like a
Oh my god, it's gonna hurt my
kind of looks
brain.
like
I gotta figure this.
Stonehenge a little bit in that way too, where it's like two stacked, with a like a dolmen kind of.
Yeah, doesn't Jim Morrison have one?
I don't know what he has. Isn't he buried in
France.
France? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna eat away at me. Here it is. Let me see here. Oh, maybe this isn't what you were talking about. Wow, this is a big old monument.
Just
How do
look
you
up
want to? What do you want
here,
to
let me
have
see.
happen
I'll
when
see
you
if I
die?
I'll see if I can pull up
Well, all right,
this
yeah,
the
you
thing I was
look
talking
for it.
about Georgia.
I'll talk about how I want to be remembered when I die. I want to become a tree. I think.
You want to be lit ablaze.
No, I want to become a tree, man. No, I don't want to become tree. Like in
Lamp
How High, the guy
lamp.
becomes the plant.
I love lamp. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Okay, I got what are you looking up?
I'm trying to find this Jim Morrison gravesite. Now, do you think Jim really died, or is that a conspiracy?
Oh yeah, that old boy is gone.
Because his body was in great shape.
That man ran himself into a an
That
early
booze will get you.
an early Elvis grave.
Yeah, but Elvis did a lot. Elvis did pills. He ate like an asshole. I think
Yeah,
Jim just
Elvis
drank.
actually lived a lot longer too, but yeah, they you know
I
bloated on a
think Jim lived a lot harder than Elvis, but I could be wrong.
there's more psychedelics though with Jim, I think, right? No.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, you could take acid. It's not
So
gonna
it's the
kill you.
Georgia Guidestones right there.
Oh, okay. That's not even what I was thinking of. So no, good thing I didn't go on a hunt for that.
I yeah, you were probably thinking of that is
The word is just eluding me. I know as
yeah,
soon as I go to lay in bed, it's gonna come to me. But
yeah.
no, nevertheless,
All right, well, that's it, folks. We just wanted to jump on and give you our thoughts on Egypt Live. Overall, cool to watch because I love watching that kind of stuff. However, it's some of the stuff's questionable, but
yeah, yeah, you got to question live TV these days besides sporting events,
right.
because they don't want it live. Like if you see any like even the halftime show, they don't let them perform. They want that shit done to
Well,
the book.
TV's what got a 7 minute delay or something, or 7 second delay,
Right. Well, there's a
something like
delay,
it.
so it's
Yeah, yeah,
technically not live anyway. I'm just saying,
7 second delay.
you go, I want to play the song. They go, no, we don't want you making a mistake. It has to be on, a certain time frame. Especially for the Super Bowl where they have every second is money. It's all fucking money, man.
Yeah.
But
Well,
there's some truth out there, so find it.
it's in money.
Yeah,
All
sink
right,
your teeth
folks.
into it.
We'll catch you next time. Peace.
See ya.